Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to be telling you guys the story about how I almost ended up losing my thumb. Now, this happened just about a month and a half, 2 months ago, a couple short months ago. I was out shooting a crossbow for probably one of the first times in my life. I'm not sure. I think I had shot one before that, but this was one of the first times I'd ever shot a crossbow, probably second or third time. And during that process of shooting a crossbow, I ended up almost losing my thumb. Now, just for some backstory and some context here, usually when I shoot rifles or guns, especially an AR, there's a certain way you can grip it. You can grip an AR with your thumb kind of up here, right? You can grip it with your thumb up here. You can even shoot pistols kind of with your thumb up. A lot of people say don't do it, but sometimes it's a habit, you'll fall back into, especially when you grab something new for the first time. It's something you might fall back into. Hunting rifles. I also have a problem with sticking my thumb up. So what ended up happening is I grabbed this crossbow, I strung it up, I cocked it, and I loaded an arrow into it, or a bolt, a bolt. And I was ready. I had, my finger off the trigger, ready to shoot. Now, if any of you guys know anything about crossbows at all, you know that the way they're designed usually is the way the place you put your hand it's kind of flared at the top, so you don't accidentally have a finger slip up. Well, somehow or another, I held it in a way that I stuck my finger up above that flare. Now, again, if you know anything about crossbows, you would know that flare is there for a reason. So, as I said before, your finger doesn't slide up and end up above that area. Now, why wouldn't you want your thumb or anything to stick up above that? Well, the way crossbows work is you cock it back, and the bowstring, is held back, and then it travels forward. All right? So the whole bowstring travels forward at a very high rate of speed. Well, my thumb was up in the air. I pulled the trigger on my target, and the bowstring went forward, and it hit my thumb just like that. Well, I was very fortunate that it didn't cut my thumb clean off, because I can almost guarantee if that bowstring was a little bit heavier or a little bit stronger, it might have done that. I was also very fortunate that I, didn't have my thumb in a different spot where I might have had it in front of where the arrow went, because or the bolt went, because that would have definitely destroyed my thumb. Now, I can show you guys a picture currently of what my thumb looks like. I decided to wait a little bit to actually make this video, because I wanted to make sure my thumb would be okay. It seems like it will be okay. It is recovering okay. But this video, I'll also be talking about a short lesson in first aid and why it's important, because my quick response, my quick acting, and my quick thinking, I was able to minimize bleeding, minimize contamination, and kind of stabilize the wound in the area. So that's what it looks like right now. That is my thumb, and you can see it does not look even. All of this right here, this right here, that doesn't have any nail. All that nail is cut off. Now there's new nail that is forming below it, but you see where that dark line is? That dark line, everything on one side of it is old nail, everything on the other side is new nail or not developed nail yet. So new nail is growing in, which is a good thing. I think I'll be okay. So let me. I just wanted to let you guys know everything is going to be okay, and everything was okay. But let me take you guys back to the actual moment it happened. So I pull that bowstring forward, right? Or I pull that trigger. The bowstring comes flying forward. It hits my thumb. Immediately, finger off the trigger, and that whole bow goes out. Now, if you guys know, those crossbows, you're not going to fire again. But force of habit, finger off the trigger, go straight down. I pretty much let go with this hand, and I dropped that straight down, and I ended up passing it to someone right next to me. And I took one glance at my thumb, and because I could tell, it hurt. I went, ah! I can't remember what I did, but I had some sort of exclamation. I don't know if I did this or whatever, but I handed the bow off, and I looked down at my thumb, and all I remembered is it was pulse. I could feel my heartbeat. I could feel the blood pumping. It was like boom, 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 and then I looked, and I just saw a stream of blood. Not not a perfect unbroken stream, but it was like a stream of blood drops, just all dropping out of my thumb. So all of a sudden, I still look around. My truck is parked not too far away. I tell the person next to me kind of stay calm because I didn't want to alarm them. I didn't want to freak them out or anything because I was trying to keep myself calm too. I go over to my truck, and as I'm going over to my truck, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I remembered that I had an old shop towel roll as well as as some duct tape. Now, this isn't ideal situation, but this is making do with what you have. So I went over. I opened the door, the back of my, I opened my truck, opened the door with my other hand, and I got my shop towel. All the while, my thumb is just sitting here like bleeding out. There was like even blood on the side of my truck. It almost looked like someone got stabbed or something. But I went in there, grabbed the shop towel, immediately applied pressure. That's the first thing you want to do in a situation like that. So I immediately applied pressure and I started wrapping. And I wrapped that thing tight, like too tight. But I wrapped it tight. And then I wrapped it, and then I kind of held it with my other fingers because it was wrapped around in a way that it was so tight that it was holding. And I held it with my other fingers. And at this point, the bleeding, it was still bleeding in the in that towel, but it started to slow down once I wrapped it because that started cutting circulation off, which you're only supposed to do that temporarily. And then after that, I thought for a second, I found my duct tape. So I grabbed my roll of duct tape, and then I kind of thought for a second. I tried to kind of readjust the wrap just a little bit so it wasn't too tight, because I was planning on leaving this on for a little bit. I wrapped it tight enough. I put duct tape around it, tightened it all up, and it was fine. Not fine, but it was tight enough to stop the bleeding and stop any immediate danger that I was in. So from that point on, I was in the clear, at least in terms of blood loss and immediate danger and immediate damage. Later on, I ended up getting back to a area where I could access my first aid kit. For whatever reason, my dumbass didn't even bring my first aid kit because I have like this IFAC little pouch that I usually bring where I am, and I forgot it. So I got back, and immediately, as soon as I got back, I took everything off slowly. I sterilized everything, and then I applied pressure. And at this point, there was very minimal bleeding. There was a little bit, but it was very minimal. So that was a good sign. That means that my body is able to stop the bleeding without any further medical assistance. So I ended up properly bandaging it, wrapping it, sterilizing it, the whole 9 yards. This whole time, my thumb is throbbing, and I am telling you this: when I was driving back to from shooting the crossbow to an area where I could access my IFAC pouch, my eyes were starting to tear up with how much this hurt. I didn't cry, but I was on the verge of like crying, not out of fear, but just out of pain because it hurt. And that doesn't happen to me often. My thumb, I was just sitting here throbbing. And then there was a very small emotional part of it too, where I was thinking, damn, I hope I don't actually end up losing my thumb or fucking something up. Anyway, it ended up taking about 3 or 4 weeks until my thumb could heal to a point where it didn't hurt to touch it. Like, keep in mind, my thumb was swollen about twice the size it is now. It was, I kid you not, it was swollen to about right there. So it took a while for everything to go down and kind of start to heal itself. Again, the nail itself isn't healed all the way, but from what I can tell and what I can feel, my thumb, the actual flesh part of my thumb, is healed back essentially to normal. So that is great. There's a little bit of weird thing with my nail right now where it's like curved. It's all bent. I'll just have to monitor that and see what happens. So yeah, that's kind of my story on me going and using first aid and how I almost lost my thumb. And thankfully, quick thinking and first aid kind of saved me in that. And honestly, if I hadn't been, when I was a lot younger, I did Boy Scouts for a little bit. And then also I've been keeping up with some, not super formal, but some, at least knowledge training. Not really practical training, in-person training, but I've been doing some knowledge training on first aid over the past few years, whether it be through YouTube videos, different seminars, stuff like that, just going over and refreshing different ways to treat, first aid. I even took a CPR class, back in I think March or April. That was actually mandated by place of employment, which was great. It was a refresher from when I got my merit badge in Scouts, but that's neither here or there. All that helped me to be able to properly address this and administer first aid to myself, and that's great. I am glad that I had that training. I'm not glad that I had to use it, but I'm glad that I was able to use it. Now, some of you might be asking, well, why didn't I go to the hospital? Well, that's another question. I just didn't think I needed to go to the hospital. I was also tired, and I can't remember if I had to work the next day or the day after. I think I had to work. Coming up. I was tired. I just wanted to go home and sleep. So I personally didn't see the need to. If any of you guys were in this situation, I would honestly recommend you to go, because it's always a good idea just to go and get it checked out. But in my situation, I just didn't end up doing it. That's kind of my own fault. But anyway, that was the short story and little short kind of video I wanted to make you guys about how I almost lost my thumb. I might end up showing you guys a few pictures here or there, and I know this is a little bit late in the video to say this because the pictures would have already shown, but I'll probably say something in the title. But a few of those pictures were a little bit graphic. I'm not sure which ones I'll actually post, but a few of them were a little graphic. But I have taken some progress pictures on how it has healed, so that's always great. But anyway, I just wanted to make this video to spread you guys some awareness to be careful out there, no matter what you're doing, whether it be firearms training, hunting, even just day-to-day out doing normal things. Take an IFAK pouch with you. Learn how to use it. Go do medical training. Go train with your firearm. Do all these things to make yourself safer and for a safer community, because these are very important. And really, like, if I wasn't able to administer first aid to myself, I really hope that someone else would be out there that would be able to, because not everyone knows how to. And believe it or not, sometimes simple wounds can end up with someone dying because they don't know how to address it. So, but for now, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching this video and for tuning in and for being here. Hope you guys liked it. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, because a lot of you guys that are watching are not subscribed. So if you guys could subscribe, that would help me a lot, bring up the subscriber count, and grow this community. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Lucas, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.